It's 2025 and you're still playing like this? It all changes. This video, I decided to do all the heavy lifting and plan out exactly what you need to get better at the game. I know that everyone's going to be at different levels in the game, so I decided that I'm going to break this video up into different sections and talk about literally everything. This is a video I wish I had when I was starting out or even when I was months in, so make sure you watch to the end because I'm going to spill all my knowledge. Let's start out like this. Think about breaking your practice up into 3 different categories: creative, real games / tournaments, and aim training. Yeah, the shit everyone says in every video, I know. But ideally, you want to practice your aim off the game. The aim is hands down the trickiest, but doesn't mean you want to put your time into it, because just because you have good aim doesn't mean you're good at the game. So when we get to the aim part, I'm going to share some secrets I picked up from pros I played with over the 6 years playing Fortnite. You want to get good the fastest way possible. So that means you're going to have to find a way to improve faster than the rest of the population that has been doing this for a long time now. What's the best way to do that? To never be good at 100% of the things. You just want to be good at 80% of most things. It's better to be well-rounded at 80% than try to learn that extra 10% on each one. That's a life tip that I learned, not only a Fortnite tip. Let's get into it. First, we got to start out with the basics. Everyone is going to be everywhere in terms of their skill, so figure out where your skill level lies right now. 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. This shouldn't take long to figure out how bad or good you are at the game. Just make sure to be honest with yourself, because it only holds you back when you lie. Or ask a friend to give you a rating. If you rate yourself between a 1 and a 4, just stay right here. If you rate yourself between a 5 and an 8, click on this timestamp down below. And if you rate yourself between like an 8.5 to 10, then go to this timestamp instead. Or you can watch because you're the GOAT. Okay, so you're a 1 to 4, and if you think this is too easy what I'm going to be talking about, go to the 5 to 8. It's not that deep, bro. This is exactly what's going to happen to everyone in this category, because I've been there 3 times on keyboard joystick, and controller. You're a 1 to 4. You're probably not that good. No offense. So any practice is going to be good for you. It's kind of like the fat guy who can go to the gym and do anything and lose weight. Do something. You're going to have tons of fun for the first week or 2, because you're going to see these newbie gains and you're going to get hooked super fast. Everyone in this category is going to be able to put minimal effort in and get better faster, just with a little direction. But as the weeks go on, you're going to get more and more and more. This is because you're going to hit a plateau, and when you do get there, you're going to think improving is impossible. Plateaus go for all categories, but especially for this one, because when you go into real games, you're going to get rinsed. So I'm going to pre-fire the next question that everyone in this category is going to ask. KenBeans, what do I change my sense to? I can't hit shots. I can't build. Your sensitivity is simple as hell. Have some confidence in yourself for a little. If you question your sense a ton, chances are it's too high. You might ask, how can you tell? Here's the keyboard version first. I got my phone here, as you guys can see, and all you want to do is go like this 1 time. Your mouse goes left to right, and that should be a full 360. That's how you utilize your mouse pad space. Guys, it's 2025. If you got those little small mouse pads, you know, those shit ones you see in school, wrap it up. If you're on controller, have a low sensitivity starting out. I'm gonna pop up what I recommend right now. This is a PS5 controller randomly. I've used like 7 different ones. This is the sensitivity that was easiest for me when I was learning controller like crazy every day. If you were to ask me which one I'm picking starting out, I'm picking keyboard, by the way. The sensitivity on a controller is gonna be weird. Console and Switch, you typically have a lower sense because the delay is crazy on there. PC, you have a little faster. Nothing so much faster, but a little. Tons of pros who play on PC then play a console tournament, they lower their sense when they're playing on console. I know that Owl used to do this. Owl FN, if you guys watch him. He doesn't play controller anymore though. He switched to keyboard. I played claw, by the way, when I was holding the controller, so I was a sweat, but even without that, I'd still recommend the same sense. We're done with the controller. With sensitivity, you can't be too slow, because then you're never going to be able to turn around and build a wall. And you can't be too fast, because you're never going to hit a damn shot. As you get super adjusted with your practice and play on Fortnite, you can make ever slight adjustments to the sensitivity. Just make sure you start slow and increment slow as well. Not gonna lie, I hate talking about this next part because it is hands down the most saturated thing on YouTube right now, but it still gets views all the time. The best controller settings, the best keyboard setting. It's a mess because everyone says different things. I use keyboard, but I use a joystick. Some people don't use WASD on keyboard. They use ESDF. Some people literally rotate the keyboard. I get asked all the time, so here here is my settings for keyboard, and I'll just like let this play for a second. But once again, I'm going to talk about both keyboard and controller same time settings. And this is how, because if I talked about settings for the next couple minutes, this video would fly. So I'm going to leave the keyboard settings what I think the best binds are, as well as the controller one. Those videos are ones that I made in the past. They're super old, but there's literally nothing wrong with them. I'd still be using the same binds if I didn't get the joystick. At this point, you're ready for literally what to do. Everyone has a different amount of time they can spend on the game, right? So I can't say play this for 10 minutes, play this for 10 minutes. Instead, you should think about percentages. Spend 70% of your time in creative. Spend 20% of your time in real games or tournaments. Maybe playing like one tournament a week, if that. Then spend the remaining 10% of your time aim training. The reason why I recommend low aim training practice is because at a beginner level, you probably suck at pressing your binds under pressure, or you spam build when you get nervous. So it'll get more important as you get better and better and better, but the first like month is not crazy important. Here's what you do when you actually get on the game. Literally rep this out. Get on the game, just start cranking. I'll show you a ton of stuff in the next few minutes or so, probably when I'm actually in the game. Right now I'm just recording a voiceover. Okay guys, time to speed through like a crap ton of drills. Literally the fastest way I can possibly do it. Let's start with number 1. Fair warning, these are basic but really useful. The first one's going to be like this, where you practice editing and then placing 2 walls. See how I'm getting both? Editing, boom. Sometimes I miss one, that's fine. Next one is a simple one, double edits constantly, but this one allows you to do it back to back. And what I like to do sometimes, switch it up with 2, like this. Another one I always did when I was practicing was this one right here. And if you want to make it easier on yourself, then you just do floor stair, bang. That way you don't have to edit a wall. The third one is turning around, doing a 180 and doing this right here. You can catch people in this cone all the time. So again, in slow-mo, you don't jump. You jump when you turn around, throw the stair out, place the cone, place the wall. This one I like to do because it's more realistic than it is flashy. When you're ramping up like this, you do a thwifo cone, which means I'm going to extend walls up and place a cone. And then what I like to do after that is throw up the thwifo, jump again, place walls through the cone, edit this, and then do it, you know, again and again. So from the other side, I'm going to throw it up, bang, bang. Some quick ones to remember is doing this, like this. Another thing I like to do is repping out wall edits, where I just sit on one wall and edit it as fast as I can to make sure I'm getting the timing down right and the crosshair placement good. What I do in slow-mo is just this. I reset. Then I come here, I reset. Boom, boom. If you're on controller, what you can practice doing is going through the wall, resetting it, going through the wall. Bang. Constantly going this motion. On keyboard, it's annoying because you only have so limited mousepad space. There's a couple drills to help you out. You could play a crap ton of creative maps, and I'm gonna be real honest. You guys know I have my own. Of course, I'd say use my Speed Realistics map because that's what I use all the time. All you gotta do is search KenBeans in the search bar and just look for these maps right here. I would recommend staying to the 1v1 map though. It puts maximum pressure on yourself and makes you really realize what you suck at. Other really good solo maps is stuff from my boys Jarian and Jive in Forever Zone Wars. It's just a zone that goes up and back down the thing until you can get a nuke, which is a 10 kill streak. It's super challenging because the zone is always moving and you're always on the back edge, which means that there's going to be people fighting back there. Hectic as hell, which is what you want. Then besides this, you could do stuff like the Martas 1v2 map, and then you need a typical 1v1 map. Reasons 1v1 map is probably where most people are going to go right now. That map is fire. This is where you're going to spend most of your time just cranking. Your goal is to spam build, get your reaction time up, and just practice against better players. In a nutshell, you play creative all day, you play ranked in pubs, or you play tournaments for fun because obviously you're a 1-4, you ain't qualling in no solo cash. I hate to break it to you. Then you aim train for like 10 minutes before you get on or 10 minutes after you get off. More into aim training stuff in the other categories though. This right here is the hardest place to be, so you better lock in. You probably struggle identifying what goes wrong in your fights and you're just dying from stupid things. More than likely, you're probably raging more than playing. At this level, you probably have no struggle reaching the Unreal rank because you probably grind a decent amount and you know that your potential is just way higher than where you're at. But you're wondering why it's taking so long. At this level, you probably do mid in tournaments, nothing crazy, definitely not top like 400. And your goals should just be to simply improve every time you play, not really go to qual or go to win. So long story short, you're still waiting for your pop off. I'd say the biggest things to improve here is hands down gonna be your confidence in high pressure situations. And I'm gonna say this multiple times throughout this part, you need to focus on your timing when you practice. That might sound kind of stupid, like, yeah, I'm obviously obviously trying to press things as fast as I can. No, I'm talking about you need to be trying to tap buttons so fast that your hands get tired. It's literally all about speed while being consistent. And you need to build on that and build on that every time you get on. The biggest eye opener was when I used to play with Jiven in chapter 4. He was my duo.
Oh yeah, that's the push.
Oh, wait. It's in the air. Oh.
Talking about the reboot guy?
No, it was birds. And Jiven aim trained a ton. Not only was Jiven a better aimer than me, one thing he put me onto was trying to practice his peaks really safely. And I'm not talking just like, yeah, no duh, right hand peak. I'm talking taking extremely safe peaks in any scenario. Pretty much trying to conserve all your shield as much as possible when you get into a fight. And this really opened up my eyes when I was practicing because I would do it differently. So because of that, I started to watch pros, but not just blatantly watch them. I would study them on how they took their peak, looking for the specific angles that Peterbot would be doing, or Booga or someone. All the pros are really good at doing this, and it's something you watch and don't even realize it's happening. The best place for you to improve at this level would probably be a Zone Wars map, something like tokens against other players. Funny part is Epic doesn't condone it, but it's easily one of the best ways to put intense pressure on you when you're in a fight. Your teammate might try hard when you're practicing him, but if you put $5 on the line, bro is gonna throw a keyboard at your face if he loses. So you can hop into like literally any Zone Wars map, just type Zone Wars in the search bar and try to find something that looks like this. Besides a map like that for playing against someone, the best thing you do when you get on is gonna be some sort of reaction edit course type of drill. And obviously the first person that comes to mind is Raider. You can hop into Raider's mechanics like V5 map, I think it's called. And of course, my boy Jiven has some practice maps, which you should also check out. He's also made a bunch of updates to his solo practice map. I'd be playing 40% creative, 40% tournaments, not pubs or rank, because you're really not going to get much out of that besides looting for 20 minutes and probably raging when you die. Then the rest of the 20% on literally aim training and practicing your timing. This level, the fastest way to see improvements in like 2, maybe 3 weeks, it's all about timing, crosshair placement, and peaks. Those 3 things. That's going to be the main focus for you. So every time you get on, you work on one of those, all right? On days when there's not tournaments, I just do creative only and maybe like a few rank games for fun. A little bonus tip is try to record every single tournament that you can, because as you move up in skill level, it's going to become more about knowledge than skill to win or place in a tournament. Okay, listen, if you rate yourself this high, you better have at least some earnings, you qualified for tournaments, or you're just damn near close to that and you're wondering what to do that could help. But this one is a different type of struggle than the previous ones, because you know what you need to do. You just need to execute and spend hella time. It feels like no matter how much you VOD review, you're just not doing any better in anything you play, or you're just stuck at consistently placing top 300 all the damn time. I feel like at the beginning of chapter 4, I was learning things, but there was just a new way I would die every time. So I'm gonna spread some knowledge on the whole thing. At this level, you're probably 70% in your build, 70% of your editing, 70% of your aiming. Like, you're pretty good. And how you're gonna get better is by making yourself uncomfortable as hell constantly whenever you play the game. Your first thing that you should be thinking about when you hop on is the things you wrote down the previous day that you weren't good at. Even the best pros in the world probably think they suck at something. So I'm sure you can find something that you're not that great at or not that quick at. For me, it's speeding up my editing, being comfortable in like top 2, winning the game, earnings on the line, and also learning rotates, because there's so much strategies with that. That's 3, and I just thought of it for 5 seconds. Play with different people who are on your level but have different play styles. When you play a tournament with someone new, it's a completely different vibe switch. Sometimes you have to carry everything, and sometimes you just sit there and let them do all the work. And sometimes you get a situation where you're both equally putting in the same amount of work. Playing different roles and play styles is going to make you feel way more confident when you play, because now you know the order of operations and who's doing what. I would say 90% of the people who are at this level and are watching this video, there's some like top tier pro things that pros do that you don't. Now, I'm not gonna lie, at this level, you probably still get smoked on your drops if you notice a pro is in your game. You should really focus on learning how to drop from the bus correctly. That's how a pro gets a massive advantage. Even if it's 3 seconds from when they land and you land, they can just shoot you and kill you right off the air. You can go and pay for drop calc and get any drop and have it literally mapped out for you. Besides that, you know how to fight people. You probably have like a bunch of hours on the game, probably hundreds at this point, maybe even thousands. You need more knowledge-based tips. But obviously, you're still going to improve in creative, of course. That is without a doubt. Because until you're better than Peterbot, you're not good at the game. What Jiven is so good at in solos that I think is super smart of him, he goes onto Fortnite.gg, and before solo cash cups, he plans out a strategy on where he's going to land, where he's going to rotate to, how he's going to get movement. And he thinks about all those things and practices it real quick before a tournament starts, so he's locked in. And I'll go into the solo cash cup, drop a 40, win the whole thing with no plan. Yeah, I did that. Yeah. Have more plan. Think about your strategy more. And honestly, a good person for you to watch at this level is probably Cease, because he does a lot of tutorial content for people who are way more advanced at the game. And he also is like part Fortnite coach, so he's like a goat and he knows a lot. If you looked at this whole video and don't remember a damn thing I just said, one, like the video because you're shameless. Remember this. Your sensitivity starts slow. Your binds, watch the videos I have in the description. Grind creative more than anything. Barely play ranked or pubs because that does almost nothing for your skill. Play tournaments starting out. Know that it's more about knowledge and you can get to the end game with 0 kills and still do good in tournaments. Make sure you got a good set of maps to practice on. And you might be wondering the thing I said at the beginning of the video about aiming. About a year ago, Polarized told me he had 3,000 hours on Kovacs. You might see pros grinding their aim as they're warming up in a creative map. I can promise you if they had to start from ground zero, they would still do aim training off Fortnite than on it. It's just so good on Kovacs. It's just not going to be the same, but if it's all you have, you got to work with what you got. So if it's a map that you got to practice your aim on, you go do that. Like a console player, you can't be doing Kovacs. This video is probably going to dud, so I appreciate a like, comment, and make sure you check out my maps. Type in KenBeans in the search bar.